Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Ad-Libbing with Addie. The episode today is titled Layers to Love, and we're going to be discussing LGBTQ plus mental health, specifically in Latinas today, with two of my very best friends. The goal of the episode is just to connect theories to real life and learning more about them through that way and how people are affected in real time in society by these things that we learn about in class. I hope that you enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed being able to make it. Thanks so much. Okay, I'm here with my two best friends who are going to tell you their name, their age, and a fun fact about themselves before we get started.
Okay, my name is Star. I'm 22, and a fun fact is that I really like to crochet.
Amazing.
And my name is Alyssa. I'm 20, and a fun fact about me is I like to line dance with Addie.
Yes, we love to line dance. Okay, are you guys ready to get into what we're here to discuss today?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Amazing. So our first question is, can you talk about where you grew up and what your what your household environment was like? Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, I grew up in South Florida in Broward County, and my household, I have 5 siblings, and then my 2 parents, obviously, and we all live together in a little mobile home that only had 2 rooms, so it was very cramped, but we're all very close-knit, so that's nice.
What's the age range of your siblings? Like, the amount of years between the oldest and the youngest?
The oldest is 30 and the youngest is 10, so 20-year gap. And I'm the middle child.
Perfect. Alyssa?
I'm from New York originally. I grew up there until I was about 10 years old maybe. And I initially grew up with my older brother. He's 10 years older than me. My dad and my mom in an apartment complex. In the Bronx.
Love.
And yeah, I have my older brother. He's 10 years older than me. And then my little sister came along 7 years after me.
Okay, so you're both middle children.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, the next question is kind of how would you describe your sexual orientation or how you identify within the LGBTQ plus community?
I'm a lesbian.
Amazing.
I think that's the point.
I also identify as lesbian.
Love. Okay. When did you first start questioning your sexuality? Also, wait, pause. They're dating each other. I feel like I didn't say that, and that's important. Okay, go.
For me, probably in middle school, early middle school, I started to just realize kind of things.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually come out to myself or anyone close to me till college.
Okay. We can touch on that later.
I think for me it was at a very young age, but it wasn't so much something that I noticed. I think a lot of even my elementary school years, 5th, 4th grade, was about having little crushes and everything. And that was just not a thing for me.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened through middle school, where it was a thing of I'm so academically centered, I just don't get the boy craze.
Right. No need for it.
So I think very early for me.
Nice. Okay. How did your family's gender expectations influence kind of that process of you questioning your sexuality and maybe potentially thinking about coming out to them and things like that, if that makes sense?
Well, my family's Mexican Catholic.
Okay.
So gender roles are very strict.
Yeah.
And growing up, it was very, I always, since I was younger, loved to do things with my dad, things that would be considered, boy-type things. Working outside with him or, helping him, at his job. He's, a roofer, so it's very, labor-heavy.
Right.
My mom would always get mad at me because she would want me to be, inside learning how to cook with her.
Right.
So it was always very pushed on me. And then also just, any, since I was really little, a lot of my close friends were always boys. Like, I kind of just gravitated to that.
Okay.
I, like, got along with them better.
Yeah.
And anytime I had, like, a really close boy best friend, it was always like, oh, well, like, her little boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would get so mad. But at the time, I didn't really understand why I would get so mad.
Little did she know.
Yeah, but yeah, it was very, very, like, pushed on me, kind of.
Okay.
So it made it later on to, like, recognize why it was so hard for me to come out.
And are all of your other siblings, like, heterosexual?
Yes, to my knowledge.
Okay. Perfect. I just feel like that would add more, in my opinion, to that.
Yeah.
So, okay, Alyssa.
I was on very much the opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I was hyper feminine. I did not like having guy friends. I just could not. I felt like I could not relate to them. Had no care as to what they had to say. The only thing, or the only time I would like really get along with them is like video games, because that's like common interest, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, so I grew up Puerto Rican Catholic. However, my mother is very ally.
Love.
Because her best friend growing up had always been like questioning her sexuality, and even married to a woman.
Wow.
My mom's always been of the belief that like you will love whoever you want to love, and I think there is a spot in heaven for anybody.
Yeah.
Except God.
That's amazing.
So my mother has always been very accepting. My father, I have no idea.
Really?
Because we've never really talked about that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we do kind of butt heads on political ends sometimes.
Okay.
Just a conversation I don't approach.
Yeah, that's valid.
But I had my little sister questioning her sexuality. I think that might be a reflection of the culture.
Yeah. Icon.
But my brother also tried the whole I'm gay thing.
Okay.
And it did not quite work out for him the same.
That's okay.
He now has 3 kids and a wife.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's kind of like, I guess, my family background.
Do you guys ever feel yourself absorbing, or did you ever feel yourself absorbing negative messages or maybe internalized stigma from the environment you grew up in while navigating this?
Definitely. Like 1,000,000%. Because I also think in the time that I grew up, it wasn't as, like, woke.
Yeah.
So growing up, it was very hard. Like, a lot of the kids in school, or, like, just also the environment I grew up with, like, a lot of Mexican Catholic families, whether they said it or not, it was always just kind of understood that being gay was something different. And, like, not necessarily bad, but it was just, like, that's different, like, that's not us. So I think growing up, I also just had trouble even believing that, like, I could be gay. Like, I had the thoughts, but I was like, no, but that couldn't happen to me. Almost like it was, like, a disease kind of thing. Like, you chose it. So it was very hard to navigate, because I do think I just grew up with a lot of internalized stigma. And, like, for the longest time, I came out as bisexual for, like, a year or two before I came out as lesbian. And, like, I was in therapy, and my therapist would always ask me, like, why can't you even say the word lesbian? Like, you almost feel like you just can't acknowledge that. And it was very hard, because I think I just struggled with the thought of, like, oh, there's, like, no chance of me ever actually dating a man. And, like, me saying that, very negative, and it was something I was never okay with, like, as a child, kind of.
Yeah.
So it was very hard to break through, but we got there.
Love.
I think I grew up, if anything, quite opposite. I think I grew up in a very, like, diverse environment, because even, like, my high school experience was such a feeder school. Like, there were so many different districts that we served as a high school. So there was, like, a lot of everything. There was different religions, different sexualities, different races, like, all the mix.
Yeah.
If anything, I think for me, it was more of a fear of being wrong. I don't know why, but I wanted it to be, like, so for sure. And I didn't say something without like being 100% positive. But I also was like so scared of experimentation and like putting myself out there. So it was kind of just like this like feedback loop of like, I don't know what I am, but I also don't have the courage or like will to figure out what I am.
Right.
So I had a very accepting culture. It was just a thing of I was so scared of being wrong.
Yeah.
Was not tapping into that at all.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is, how does being both Latina and queer either complicate, if you want to use that word, or enhance or change your experience?
I think being Latina and queer, at least in like Mexican culture, I know like growing up, there was always like this idea that like if you were lesbian, you like wanted to be a man kind of thing. Like it was like in between. It was like I had cousins growing, like distant cousins that I never really talked to. So again, I wasn't really exposed to them. But like if my mom or dad would talk about them, it was like, oh no, like she already like became a man kind of thing. And she was just a more masculine leaning lesbian.
Yeah.
So also like I feel like a lot of what I grew up around, or like even what's portrayed in like TV, like telenovelas and stuff in Mexican culture.
Yeah.
If you were lesbian, it was very much like you're like far like masculine, like that's what you are.
Yeah.
And I never felt that far masculine, like where I wanted to like cut my hair and like look more like a man or something.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for myself to be like, oh no, but you don't want to be like that, so like be a lesbian kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it just like was a little confusing, and also just growing up where I grew up, it was always like a big thing of people were gay, but they never said it out loud.
Okay.
Like it was just like you would like I had an uncle actually that my mom would he was married to my mom's sister, and she was like, oh no, but he was gay, like he was married to my sister, but randomly he would
that's
like,
crazy
leave her and like go like
wow
get with a man, but then come back to his family. So it was always kind of like portrayed in a bad light.
Okay.
Not on purpose, but kind of on accident.
Right. That's crazy.
I think, yeah, very similar to that. It feels like such, like, chismosa. Like, it feels like gossip.
Okay.
Like, where it's like, oh my gosh, like, she was, like, married to this man, and now she's dating a girl. And it's like, they're just so judgmental.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that, honestly, probably fed into my I don't want to be wrong thing. Because they're very, like, you say what you are, and that's what you are.
Right, it's like the label. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like, she's a lesbian.
Okay.
And I think that was a lot of my fear too, was I didn't want it to be this thing of like a label. I wanted it to be more so integrated in who I am than who you know me as.
Yeah.
Kind of. I think in Latin culture that's very hard. Like even growing up, like if you're skinny, you're flaca. If you're big, you're gorda. Like they love to just define you by one thing.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, if anything, that's where, like, the biggest, I think, Latin and, like, queer thing comes.
Okay. The, like, intersection of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys feel like your shared identity of both being Latina and lesbian gives you a particular kind of resilience?
Resilience in, like, what way?
Like, I guess maybe in your in your relationship or, like, level of understanding each other?
I think it does bring a level of understanding, for sure.
Yeah.
Just the cultural background of it all, like, it's already hard enough to be queer, but then to also deal with, like, the family background of being Latin.
Right.
It is a shared kind of thing. Because I know there's some people that are, like, so hard on, like, oh, like, your mom needs to know, like, dating, like, blah, blah, but I think there comes, like, a understanding of, like, we come from this culture where that's a very hard thing.
Right.
So, like, for that to happen, it's very big, and there's, like, an understanding of, like, if you need time, there's time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But, yeah, I'd say that's, like, one of the biggest things. And also just in, like, understanding, like, family dynamics and everything.
Yeah.
Like, large families and loving your family so much, I think also comes from Latin culture.
Yeah. I feel like in Latin and Hispanic culture, family is just, like, such a important, like, central thing in your life.
Yeah.
And, like, even, I don't know, like, it's just really hard to break out of that. And even if, like, you date people, like, even being queer aside, just, like, dating people outside of the Latin culture, it's hard for them to understand, like, well, why do you have to be with your mom, like, all the time? Why do you have to, like, always call your dad?
Yeah.
Or, like, your sisters call you, like, 10 times a day, kind
of. Like, the different
and, like,
expectations.
That in itself is hard, and then, like, adding being queer on top of it, and, like, yeah, just the being understanding of, like, different paths and things.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys could talk to your younger selves in maybe, like, 2 or 3 sentences, what would you say?
I would say, oh golly, I would say it is okay, all of the feelings you're feeling. You can't keep hating or, like, belittling your personality just because you're trying to hide something else. And it'll all end up being fine.
Love.
It's not crazy.
Amazing.
That's good. I think that it's okay to, like, make mistakes and to navigate hard emotions.
Yeah.
I just feel like that. I think growing up, a lot of it was I was so scared of being wrong and I was so scared of judgment, and it came to a point, I think I got to a point where it was like, it kind of is what it is.
Right.
And, like, being so scared of being yourself is just, it's so draining. Like, not worth it. So yeah, I'd say just be yourself, and it's okay to be wrong.
That's beautiful. I love that. Okay, and then the last question of this episode is, what do you hope listeners take away from your story or experiences?
Honestly, I hope they just realize that, like, you know, sexuality and everything is very fluid, and it's okay to not always be so sure, and it's okay to, like, also have the fear of, like, coming out. Like, it's not an easy thing, and I think, especially in today's culture that is a lot more accepting, it's almost looked down upon now to be, like, in the closet, and I beat myself up about that a lot too, or, like, beat myself up about, like, not, like, I dated guys before coming out.
Right.
And, like, even now I'm like, oh, like, that makes me, like, less of a lesbian, because it's like, well, there's other people that knew they were gay since they were, like, 3 years old.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not, like, a good enough queer person. But, like, everyone's path is so different, and everyone's, like, upbringing and backgrounds and, like, family dynamics, or, like, where they grew up impacts them so much. And, like, whenever you are ready to take that, like, step, or just, like, not even just being queer, just, like, being yourself, like, in careers or in, like, I don't know, anything you want to do, like, it's never too late to, like, allow yourself that happiness.
Yes.
I like that. I think pretty much most of what she was saying. Yeah, that, like, it's okay to question your sexuality, and it's okay if that changes over time with people you date or you consume or anything. I think it's okay to change your mind. Like, you do not have to be locked into this one thing. Bad now about, oh, well, you say you're this thing, so, like, you should stick to that.
Yeah.
I think that's really unfair.
Yeah.
With different life experiences, you come to find out, I do like men and I like women, or I'll stick to just women, kind of thing. So yeah, I think just don't pigeonhole yourself. Like she said, sexuality is fluid. And if it takes you a little bit to find out who you are, that's okay.
Yeah. Great reminders. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Yay!